For this video, I try to learn how to speedrun Super Mario 64 in just a week, seeing if I could grab 16 stars and beat the game within 25 minutes. All to answer the question, how fast can one get with only a week of practice? The answer? Pretty damn surprising. Alright, I'm done with this whole Mr. Beast bit, I can't do this. Now, I wasn't going into this blind. I should say that I also played the DS version of the game, but that really only gave me a leg up on map layouts, since I had to already learn a new set of controls. The main part of this challenge would be finding out the best strats for the 16-star run, and the best way to learn these was to go straight to YouTube and find a video to watch. Oh, this one doesn't look too difficult.
Right here, we're just gonna long jump up right, fall down, and then right about here, we're gonna dive.
Alright, long jump, walk, upright, hold down, dive.
Yeah, I did not know what I was getting myself into. Womp's Fortress was the first area that I wanted to practice, since I knew I'd be on it the most. A particular strat that I wanted to learn this day was called Cannonless, which goes like this. One normally acquires the blast away the wall star by firing oneself at a certain wall via cannon, but since the strat's called Cannonless, we already know that there's no need for that. As it turns out, the corner of the star is actually peeking just outside the wall, and so all one needs to get the star is to hit that specific part of the wall, and all that takes is a short little movement pattern to memorize. After that, I spent a little bit of time getting the other stars up to Bowser 1, but unlike Cannonless, I didn't use any crazy strats for any of these. I then achieved a time of 13:24 for collecting the first Bowser key. Yeah, not the actual run or anything, just the first Bowser key. I'm not that crazy. But it did set things up for day 2, which is arguably when things actually went down. At the start of the day, I knew I wanted to improve my time for Little Penguin Lost on Cool Mountain. The goal of this star is to basically bring the penguin at the top of the mountain down to the bottom, where the mama penguin is chilling out. One can take a shortcut down the right side of the mountain by holding forward on the analog stick. That's how you get to mama, but I was jumping instead of holding forward, which actually makes it more difficult for Mario to make the ending gap. After fixing that though, the star was basically smooth sailing. Or, I guess, smooth sliding, if you think about it. I don't fucking know. Anyway, it was getting around time for me to achieve my first actual speedrun of the game. I started with Shifting Sandland, where I learned Shining atop the pyramid, a relatively easy star to get. You might know about another star called Talons of the Big Bird, which resides here too, but I chose not to do that for the time being since I'd heard it was kinda difficult. I went with the Boil the Big Bully star instead, which was actually kinda difficult for me, not gonna lie. And then I did red coins on the same level, which was the total opposite of that. 3 of the Hazy Maze cave stars were relatively easy, except for this one that you're watching now, since I had to find an alternative route than the one shown in the video I was watching, but other than that, I was fine. The real killer of this run was gonna be this little rabbit here. His name's Mips. You can say hi to him if you want. Actually, just don't. He's a fucking asshole. As it turns out, the key to the 16-star run is actually Mips himself. Basically, the 30-star door in the basement is required to get to the second Bowser fight, but since we only have 16 stars by the end of the run, we need to manage to clip through that door instead. Mips, whom we unlock 15 stars into the run, can be used to clip through that 30-star door. That being said though, there's a door blocking the area between where Mips spawns and the 30-star door, meaning that we actually need to clip through that door and then pick up Mips through the wall on the other side first. This would be easy, however, there's just one tiny problem. There's just one tiny problem. Look, there's a lot of different methods to check for a way to pick up Mips, and at least during this challenge, I never knew how to do any of them. I would just fidget with Mario and pray every time I clipped through that door, and somehow I actually got pretty lucky most of the time. After somehow clipping him through the wall and the 30-star door though, you are then treated to arguably the most fun part of the game.
water level.
Then comes Bowser 2, which I struggled to complete fast, but remember, I'm just going for a time, not an insanely fast time at the moment. After that was done, I got to the backwards long jumps, or BLJs for short. You've probably seen these before, but on the off chance that you haven't, here's a little refresher. Basically, Mario's forward momentum is capped, but his backwards momentum isn't, meaning that you can basically go infinitely fast with enough speed backwards. His long jumps, when performed backwards, can be spammed if done against something like stairs, which allows him to be so fast to where he can either clip through doors or even skip the infinite staircase at the end of the game. A lot of people say that they had issues with this part of the run, but at least during my week-long challenge, I honestly never had many issues with BLJs. Probably because I'm capable of doing this. Anyway, it was then time for Bowser in the Sky, which I struggled with a ton, and then finally, the third Bowser fight. I didn't learn any strats for picking up Bowser, nor did I have much experience, so I struggled with his fire and charge attacks a lot. Throws were another beast as well, something that I would definitely have to improve on in the future. But finally, after 35 minutes and 20 seconds, I completed my first run of the game. Again, nothing too crazy, but for a first time, this wasn't too shabby by any means. It was over 10 minutes away from my goal, but there were plenty of flaws that could be fixed for future runs, which gave me a lot of hope for day 3. Now, although I had a run under my belt, it was now time to improve some of my strats to cut down on that time. The first of these would be Lakitu Skip. This is a strat done to skip the second dialogue box in the game by moving outside of the range where it can be triggered. This saves not even 10 seconds, but it was cool to try even if I couldn't get it consistently. I then started trying to speed up the first star of the run with a little strat called Clippy. The first star that we get is locked behind this cage, but a conveniently placed Bomb-Omb allows us to clip through that cage without having to deal with the chain chomp. There's a weird tech with the Bomb-Omb which sends Mario backward after picking up a mid-air Bomb-Omb with a good amount of distance. By propelling Mario towards the cage this way, and then throwing the Bomb-Omb, Mario is actually able to clip through the cage and get the star. Again, this probably wasn't going to be happening consistently, but it was a cool little strat to try, and landing both Clippy and Lakitu Skip in a run definitely wouldn't hurt either. With that down, I moved on to a new star that I wanted to learn to replace Boil the Big Bully, which was, of course, Talons of the Big Bird. The main strat involves landing on this Shy Guy as fast as possible in order to hit the Talon holding the star. There's some nuances included in this, like tower placement and when to long jump, but apart from that, this star is actually pretty easy. I got it down within like 30 minutes, and it's kind of just fun to go for after getting through 10 minutes of the run already. And after learning those stars, some strats for catching MIPs, practicing my BLJs, and some castle movement, it was finally time to get another rundown. It started out kind of rough. I screwed up Lakitu Skip and Clippy, but to be fair, that was to be expected after only the first couple practices. Everything from there, though, was smooth sailing, and even if I did mess up a couple things, it would be infinitely better than my first run anyway. I landed Talons fine, Bowser 2 was a cakewalk, I didn't have many issues with BLJs and MIPs after practicing, and after beating Bowser 3, with a lot of difficulty with the Bowser throws, I bumped down my time by 9 minutes, with an updated personal best of 26:40. It was at this point that I felt pretty comfortable. It's a solid increase from the last run and only 2 minutes away from my goal of 25 minutes. And so with only 3 days left, I decided to just take it easy for the day and leave it to the 4th day to finish things up. As soon as I got the chance, I got to work. Everything today was simply refining what I already knew and then taking it even further. MIPs and Bowser throws were the biggest time losses, so improving these would be vital to getting a better time. And after doing all that, after shoving that piece of shit rabbit into that door for hours and hours on end, it was finally time to do the real thing. Oh, I actually got it. Holy shit.
There we go. Pussy monkey, you fucking bit.
Okay, I screwed up a little bit, but that's okay. Oh my god, so PB, man! Oh my god, please be 25. So, yeah, I did it with 3 days to spare, with a final time of 23:01, 2 minutes under my original goal, which is pretty damn good for not even 5 days of practicing the game.